Thanks for staying with us here on TVC Breakfast. It's now time for us to take a peek through what the papers are reporting this morning. The first with me is a Nation newspaper with very loud infographics. We are talking about Governor Boni's second term in office, elevating service delivery across Yobe State. But if you look at the nameplates, 22 firms get 16.1 billion naira in first tranche of 75 billion naira relief loan. Platform Times talks about Sanwo-Olu, Makinde, Abiodun got 2.3 trillion naira in 6 years amid infrastructure gaps. That's according to investigation. Blueprint newspaper, OGFZA attracted $24 billion investments, $30 billion commitment under Tinubu. That's according to JADA. The Daily Independent speaks to oil-related matters. $300 helicopter levy on oil coils may hike petrol, diesel prices. The Punch newspaper, grim toll, states move to evacuate flood zones. This Nigeria also speaks to the flood problem. Flood brings sorrow, tears to Niger State. We'll have over 150 die, 500 houses affected. Abuja Inquirer, flood of grief for Kano athletes, muted sorrow for Mokwa disaster. President, National Assembly, governors, others mourn Kano 22. Leadership newspaper, 2027 talks about politics, disquiet in APC over automatic tickets. The Guardian newspaper also follows suit. 2027 opposition coalition shops for candidate as APC mocks efforts. The Hope newspaper, quite human angle, interesting story. WAEC exams gone awry. Mom allegedly brutalizes vice principal for disallowing son to cheat. Police vow to arrest culprits. And the Sporting Live, Kano tragedy. Survivor recounts ordeal, reveals ill-fated bus broke down severely before mishap. Let's get down to brass tacks. Etoma and Veronica. Looking at what the Nation newspaper, let's just quickly touch on it. If you look at the masthead, above the masthead, 22 firms get 16.1 billion naira in first tranche of 75 billion naira relief loan. So we're seeing that since the removal of fuel subsidy, apart from human beings feeling the problem, we have companies, we have firms that are also reeling from the impact of it. But now getting this relief loan from the government, do you not feel it does make sense?
I think it's coming a little bit late. It's needed, quite all right. I'm not belittling the effect it will have.
Yeah.
But quite a number of people have been laid off work already with this financial help now. Are they going to call them back? It is. Maybe it will give other people the opportunity to get jobs and so on. But it also shows that the government is sympathetic with the way these companies have been struggling to stay on. Quite a number of them had closed shop and left.
I love your optimism. It's just like when you say price of rice and beans, went up. People that are selling food, okay, now it's coming down. They have to reduce the price, the cost of it. People don't do that.
That doesn't happen very fast in Nigeria.
Very fast, or does it even happen at all? Veronica.
Interesting. I like the fact that the government is trying to cushion the impact of the removal of fuel subsidy. Yeah. But timing is also key. And like Etoma said, a majority of those companies had, gone out of the country. And then Manufacturers Association of Nigeria have often spoken about how the removal had been impacting and affecting them. I think that when we are making these decisions, we must ensure that we work hand in glove with these people so as to give them the needed resources at the right time that they need it, so they can feel and see the impact. At the end of the day, they might need to channel these monies into something else.
That's right.
That may not necessarily drive the needed impact as quickly as they want to see it. But it's good, but I want us to do it timely.
That's right.
That's the major issue for me. It should be timely so that they can address their issues quickly. Right. But how will this translate into the reduction of prices of goods and services at the end of the day? And that's where we want to see monitoring at the end of the day, because government is not just handing you these loans for free, but it is also to ensure that Nigerians can afford whatever services you are, giving out at the end of the day.
Yeah, before we move on, let's look at these infographics that we have here on the front page. There's talking about the governor of Yobe State, Governor Buni, second time in office, talking about elevating service delivery across Yobe State. So if you look at the snapshots, we have infrastructure being we have the terrace that we're looking at on the front page of the paper. 1, 2, and 4 different views of the Potiskum modern market built and almost completed by Buni administration in Potiskum. Similar markets have been built in Damaturu, Nguru, Ganhu. So we see all of these. Some of them, or all of these completed. I think it's just the groundworks that remain in there. So this is speaking to good governance. Some will agree. Others will say, yes, in infrastructure we want chop, but that is not the case. The case is that he's showing workings.
Yes, a lot of our governors will want to build something so that they can point to it and say, this is what I did when I was governor of the state. But after that, what happens? Do we have a maintenance plan? Do we build systems that will make that infrastructure very relevant and create jobs for our people? I'm always going to support every government that creates jobs for the people, because when little drops touches a lot of hands, the load becomes lighter. I'm not diminishing what he has done.
That's right.
For him to invest so much in building markets, maybe he has realized that what his people need is modern markets and so on to galvanize trade and ensure indirect employment. Yeah,
Veronica, sorry, because of our time, let us just move to platform times. Sanwo-Olu, Makinde, Abiodun got 2.3 trillion naira in 6 years amid infrastructure gaps. That's according to investigations. So if you look at Lagos or your Ogun, they are now under the spotlight over use of trillions of naira. I do not know how much of development you've seen across this southwestern state.
Well, I haven't traveled across all of these states mentioned, only in Lagos, and from what I can see, not much. Yes, they are making the needed effort, but some of those governors will tell you that, because of the removal of fuel subsidy, inflation, tax, and all of that,
they're getting times 3.
Of course, the cost is now triple as well. The cost of doing some of this infrastructure development has tripled as well. So they would manage their resources as much as possible. But it's important that we investigate these things and bring them to question, because the funds that were used are Nigerians' funds. Now that it is on the papers, let Nigerians investigate. Can they measure and ensure that, the infrastructure on the ground, places side by side, these monies that they have received. The paper is saying not much has been seen in 2.3 in 6 years amid infrastructure gaps. What are the gaps? Where are the gaps? I believe that they would have broken that down further inside the paper. But it's important to note that governors, you have a responsibility to the people to ensure dividends of democracy at the end of the day. And that whatever you are building in terms of infrastructure is what the people need, and not just what you think the people need. It has to serve the people so that you can know that you have imprinted your name on the sands of time.
That's right.
And posterity will be kind to you.
I love the way you kind of give them the motivational talk. So I believe if they're seated, watching us, they definitely will pick something out of it if they really want to do some things. Now, Blueprint newspaper, as well as Daily Independent, they talk about the oil industry. If you look at OGFZA, which means Oil and Gas Free Zones Authority, which is led by Bamanga Usman Jada, is saying that the current administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu attracted $24 billion investment, $30 billion commitment under his leadership, saying that we are reaping dividends of purposeful leadership. But on the other hand, $300 helicopter levy on oil coins may hike petrol, diesel prices. So while we are recording gains, others are expressing their fears that, listen, Minister of Aviation, do not impose this fee on, the land. I mean, this levy on these players. But in all of this, how do you see it?
It reminds me of the street balance that says life no balance. When you're celebrating a gain here, you're also seeing a loss there. But $24 billion US investment, that is huge.
That's right.
And then a 30 billion naira commitment for further investments in that sector. That is a really, really very huge. But you see, I like thinking like the average Nigerian when it comes to things like this. These numbers are big. They are very big.
Yeah.
But how does it translate? Yes, these investments are not the kind of investment where you put the money today and you start seeing dividends tomorrow. I understand that it takes some time. So we just have to wait. And at times, when we are writing stuff like this, even on the headlines, we should break it down a little bit so that the average Nigerian will
but Veronica, if you look at this story on the front page of Daily Independence, it's going to affect companies like ExxonMobil, Total, name all of the oil, and then at the end of the day, it might spill over to customers who will be seeking to buy.
Definitely, they are the first persons who will be at the brunt.
But the federal government said it's just a way of generating revenue.
Of course, the government wants to generate revenue. These people are in business for profit. So there has to be a balance if they have to sustain their businesses. So while government is saying, I need to get this tax from you, they are also imposing it on their customers. At the end of the day, someone has to pay for whatever decisions the government is making. And so government needs to look critically at its decisions. You want to levy these persons, did you have a conversation with them on why you are intending to take this step and how it will benefit them at the end of the day? What are the plans that you are making with them to ensure that they do not tax their customers at the end of the day? Because if you are giving with one hand and taking with the other hand, then we would not trust. That's what is happening. People would not trust you. Let's be sincere.
That's right.
People will not trust. So it's important that these people understand what it is, why they are being levied. You want to generate funds. So how does this affect? It's going to affect my business. And I must increase the price of petrol. At the end of the day, what is the impact on the economy that we are saying we want to build and stabilize?
Most definitely. Most definitely. Guys, if we can do this in just like 50 seconds from you for the Punch newspaper, This Nigeria, and Abuja Inquiry, which talked about flooding, in Niger State. If you look at even Abuja Inquiry saying that flood of grief for Kano athletes, muted sorrow for Mokwa disaster. So it's just like we've been thrown into the mourning mood this Monday morning. It is, avoidable, don't you think?
For me, quite avoidable. And but the painful side is that Nigeria is bleeding too much. Too many people are dying. Too many people are dying for avoidable reasons, because Mokwa has been identified over 30 years ago as a place prone to gully erosion. And state governments after state governments have had financial interventions to tackle this, and nothing much has been done. Recently, the present governor even had some, and nothing has been done. We are seeing 150 and all that. My friend that lives around that area told me it's over 230. But that's unofficial figure. Official figure is still within 150, 153.
Right.
It is painful.
Increased to 200 even this morning.
Veronica.
It's sad that we are seeing this devastating impact, be it, call it climate change, whatever it is. But the issue is, what were the steps governments, not even this current administration of the state, but successive administrations that have come, what did they do with the resources, knowing how the state is prone to these kinds of climate issues.
That's right.
But if we are not taking steps, we cannot just blame one government, because it will be a lot. It has to be something that is built successively, according to the administrations that have come over the years. It is sad that people who should hold these persons to account are not speaking up enough. So I believe that perhaps NGOs or whoever should begin to hold government to account regarding these issues. NLC, well, it's not a labor matter, but it's unfortunate that a lot of people have lost their lives, livelihood have been lost, a lot of persons have been displaced. But the relief that the government is putting in place right now, how long will that take? What is the measure? Because that road is a major road connecting the north, central, and southwest, and then it's also an area where food is
I saw a video saying that you guys brace up, pepper will definitely go up, and tomato and all of those.
That's the impact of all of this. So what are the decisions
I'm looking to rush to the market after the program. All right, guys, let's move on to Leadership newspaper as well as the Guardian newspaper. They talk about the 2027 elections. People are already getting up, and then you see there is an endorsement of the president, for 2027, and then some other lawmakers, they're already getting the nod that they are, planning to return. I mean, getting the nod that they should be the one to continue, in their positions. But others are angry that no, we shouldn't go that way. How do you, analyze this?
You see, politics is a very funny thing. When this party is taking this step, another party is taking another step on the same issue. We're talking about automatic tickets for lawmakers, and I'm automatic. Why? Why?
In a democracy.
Two reasons. It's a democracy. That means everybody has a right to contest, and everybody should be given a chance to contest. Now, when you do that automatic ticket thing, you've cut off a whole lot of Nigerians. You've disenfranchised them. You've not allowed them to exercise their fundamental human rights. But it's a party issue. I hear some governors are kicking against it. Let's see how it happens. So,
but Veronica, very, very quickly, they just say that it's just for the party to be orderly, so that there won't be litigations after the primary, so that they will present a strong footing for the elections.
You can have party democracy, but there's also party supremacy. So what happens at the end of the day is, if the party has said this is our stand and we're going in a particular direction, everybody has to come on all fours regarding that, and democracy is shoved aside. So as long as a majority of the persons, which is for me still party democracy, are agreeing to go in a certain direction, so be it, because they have all agreed. Those that are aggrieved now will now have to look for ways of being satisfied one way or the other, especially if they are able to negotiate for something that they have been able to work for. Loyalty is key. What have you been able to deliver in the interest of the party is also key. So if you have been able to position yourself with these two things in such a way that if you are aggrieved, the party members feel that, okay, we can satisfy you with something. Perhaps everybody will be on all fours at the end of the day, but it is left to be seen.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, the people still need to decide.
Most definitely.
Right.
But internal democracy should definitely, hold supreme.
Supersede,
Right. Now, the Hope newspaper, WAEC exams gone awry. Mom allegedly brutalizes vice principal for disallowing son to cheat.
Oh boy. I read that stuff and I had a hearty laugh.
An outburst of laughter.
I mean,
but for me, it's not really funny.
No,
it's sad.
Oh, okay.
Now, let me tell you why I laughed.
Right.
There are ways you react to some things that are so stupid. So
Choice of words.
Yeah, sorry about that.
They're not bad.
They are so crazy, I mean, you are brutalizing an official for not allowing your son to cheat. Have we gotten that low?
That's the issue.
Have we gotten that low? Look, that woman should be arrested, definitely arrested, and the full weight of the law should fall on her, and let's make it public. So it will act as a deterrent to other people that say, I see a lot of that. Why did you beat my child? A parent telling the teacher
we have
that.
just a minute to go. They say, "Na person we sabi book, na him sabi the road." How did they say?
For me, it's really sad that the parent,
I think it's the other way around.
That the parent is encouraging the child to cheat. It goes to show how low we have come. We have really come low, because when the results come, and for instance, JAM said they put measures in place initially to ensure that there is no malpractice. That also I saw the level of failure at the initial stage. but then we now realize there were glitches. But we have now seen that parents are also encouraging their children to do these things, and when the examiner puts measures in place to stop them, we see they fail, and then they come out to start shouting, saying, oh, it's because of this and that. We should have some sense of dignity. What are you teaching your child? When that child leaves secondary school and gets into the university, it will continue that.
And that's
and
right,
then when we now start having quack doctors, fake doctors, these are the results.
That's
it begins from somewhere. It did not just happen. Parents should do better.
That's
it's
right.
sad.
That's right. It demands a whole lot, because and these same parents will be saying that governments are not good, the electoral process is not free and fair.
You have no moral grounds to say that.
Question anything. Well, that's about it. Let's just leave it here and allow Nigerians to, have time to go through the rest of the papers and,